Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes. We are with Liberty Lass, who is our level 45 brute, who's 200,000, a little over 200,000 to go to get to level 46 on our next set of slots. We're on our story arc with the Madam of Mystery, and I had a previous episode. I probably haven't posted it. I did a rant that I wasn't really happy with. I've done this a couple times now in the last few episodes I've recorded. I feel like the subject hasn't really been all that worth doing a rant on, and I kind of was milking it. So we're just not gonna, we're not, if stuff comes up as I'm talking, but I'm not gonna rant about anything. We'll just go ahead and play the game. Um, I'm at level +1. So what I did do in the last episode that I recorded and probably won't post, so is I face planted against the Madam of Mystery. The main problem with her is she's just way too hard to do damage to. She's either resistant to what I'm doing or just had so many hit points that it was a +3 missing, and she was either +3 or +4 to me, and it was just too much. So if she's going to be +1 to the mission, that'll make her +2 to me. When I go in there, that's probably what I can handle. So I've made the mission +1. Unfortunately, this is going to probably make this mission rather um, easy. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of Lux, and that's because she was just hitting me through all my defenses and draining my endurance because the psychic damage drains endurance, and then I ran out of endurance. And so what happened is I ran out of endurance. The toggles, I was, down to like this many hit points. I ran out of endurance. The toggles all turned off, and she killed me. And I had done like a quarter of her hit points. I just couldn't get the damage through. I think what may have happened is this thing may have worn off. I'm not sure how long. How long does this last? Um, yeah, it's only last 2 minutes, and I think after 2 minutes, I had gotten her to like 40% of her hit points, 50% of her hit points, and then once this wore off, I just didn't have enough inspirations to keep fighting her. So unfortunately, that means we're going to be facing some lower level guys. Now these characters at the beginning were pretty low level when I came in here before anyway. So hopefully it will go at least up to yellows and oranges rather than whites and yellows. But yeah, unfortunately this is actually one of the problems with the elite bosses, and I've talked about this before in City of Heroes, is that the elite bosses are so much more powerful than the rest of the mission in many cases that although the entire rest of the mission is fine at say +3, you can't beat the elite boss at +3. So you have to set the mission to +0 or +1 so that you can beat the elite boss, but the rest of the mission is super easy. And I think actually if you go back and look, one of my scrappers got this mission and had the same problem, even not scrapper stalkers, and even the stalker with the assassin strike and whatever could not defeat the Madam of Mystery at +3 or 4. And so I set the mission low, and then I just stalked to the end of the mission and took out the Madam and the couple mobs around her, and then didn't do the rest of it because it's just not super exciting to be fighting whites and yellows. However, um, can't really do that with a brute. There's no way to sneak, not easily anyway. And so we'll just finish this up, and the story arc might. I don't think this finishes the story arc. I was going to say if we finish the story arc here, it might level us, but I don't think it does because I'm pretty sure after you defeat the Madam of Mystery, Madeline Casey then kind of goes crazy and turns into the Madam of Mystery, or you find out that she is her, and then you have to do some more missions. I'm pretty sure she says, just go to one more warehouse and make sure everything's clear, and it's not. So so we will probably set this back to +2 after handling this mission. I feel like this character +3 is just a bit much. I didn't feel that way with Quintessence Lass, who had the dark. But the thing with Dark Melee is, Dark Melee was debuffing their ability to hit me. And it did it reliably. It wasn't a percentage chance. It was an automatic debuff. Whereas the Disorient, if it works, is better than the debuff because it'll just stop the incoming damage entirely, but if you can't apply it to most bosses and elite bosses and stuff, it won't work on them. And if it only has like a 33 or 25 or whatever percent chance of actually working, unless you have it on the charge up, right, from total focus, right? Because total focus causes barrage to automatically stun you, right? So it'll do that, but not against an elite boss, I don't think. And you don't always have that charged up, and you might miss with the barrage. It doesn't guarantee a hit. And so, yeah, one of the problems with the disorient as a power is the lack of reliability of the disorient. And as a consequence, if it just doesn't trigger when you need it to, then it doesn't mitigate the damage at all. So Madam should be in here somewhere. She was the last time I was in here when Liberty last face planted. Yeah, with Dark Melee, because it's not a mez, it's a debuff, it automatically, as far as I know, it automatically applied. And every hit applied an additional debuff. And so you're just punching and punching and punching enemies, and they're getting more and more weak. They're, it's getting worse and worse chance to hit, and then they just don't hit you. And Quintessence Last also had a defense-based defensive set, right? So she was doing a lot more dodging than this character who does more resistance. And again, as I've talked about in the past, when you have a resistance-based set, it's very nice because it always works, whereas defense is all or nothing. When it doesn't work, you take the full damage. But resistance-based sets mean most of the attacks hit you, and those attacks, if they have a debuff or something, or that kind of an effect, it hits you every time, right? And so when the Madam of Mystery was hitting me over and over again with her endurance-draining psionic powers, right, my character's endurance kept getting drained, even though the damage wasn't that bad. There's the Madam. She is a level +1, so we should not have any trouble taking her out. She doesn't seem to have any buddies with her. We're just going to go with 3 defenses. That gives us a psi defense of 45, and we have a psi resistance of 45, so it should be pretty good. Let's see how we do. We should be able to do much better damage to her, because again, the level difference is not 3 or 4, it's only 1. So she's doing dark, which also reduces my 2-hit ability. So we may need another accuracy, we'll see. So far we're at 95%, it's not too bad. It's actually pretty good. So I have to keep an eye on the Lux and re-up them as soon as they fade. You can see how hard it is to just do damage to her. So we've now used an entire cycle of our inspirations, and we've got her to maybe 67% hit points. You can see she's debuffing my defense. So my sonic defense is -1 despite the fact that I have all this defense running. So we're going to have to run more to bring it back up. Now she shouldn't be able to hit me really at all. So you can see why, if this character was 48 or 49, why I was not able to do anything to her, right? Because at 46, I'm still in trouble. And that's the endurance drain from Strength of Will. I might be able to get out of here, but I'm not going to be able to beat her. Yeah, she's got me held now. And then once you're held, you're stuck. So I probably needed a break free. Here we go. Oh, shoot, I turned it off. Okay. Alright, we might still be able to get her. That was the big crash. But look at this, she's still got half of her hit points. So I might have to lower this to +0 or even -1 to beat her, which is pretty sad. And I'm pretty sure Quintessence Last didn't have that much trouble against this character. And you can see, right, so here we have a Psi enemy, right? This Psi enemy is, she's +1 to me, right? It's not that bad. +1 is possible in a +0 mission anyway, so it's not outside the realm of possibility. We have a defensive set, willpower, that is actually the best defended against Psi of any set in the game. And I still struggled to beat her. And the only thing that's helping me at all is a couple times I've disoriented her. And some of the problem here is just the insane amount of hit points she has. And she keeps self-healing as well, right? And that's another place where if you have a defense set, she can't do the dark heal and self-heal herself. So she's like a dark Psi character. She's definitely draining my endurance. I was just trying to keep the damage up. Nope, she healed herself again. Nope, she got me with the endurance again. So we're going to have to set it on +0 and see if we can beat her. So guys, that means I'm going to have to log out and log back in because the mission won't reset its difficulty until I log out. So you got to see me faceplant anyway. Yeah. Wow, what a brutal enemy. I'm not sure if a different set of inspirations would help there or not. The defenses were great until I ran out of endurance, so I guess I need some more endurance. I wasn't having trouble hitting her, so maybe I don't need to bring as much accuracy. I'll think about the inspirations, and I'll bring you back when we're facing her. You don't need to watch me clean out a bunch of white cons. Alright guys, we're back. I have leveled up, which I didn't realize I was that close to doing, and if I had been smarter about it, I would have come in here and tried to level up as I defeat this character, and then we would have had the level up buffs. But I think having leveled up with her now being actually level -1 to us, we shouldn't have a lot of trouble with the Madam of Mystery now. But we'll see what happens. The biggest problem is the crash from Strength of Will. So I have a break free just in case. I'm going to try to do extra damage to her right from the beginning. And the other thing is, this psychic thing is supposed to be her weakness, which I forgot to use. So we can try the Psychic Cleaver and see if that works. Maybe that'll actually like debuff her a little bit. Don't know. Seems to be working okay. Let's try a built-up Psychic Cleaver. And it doesn't do any extra. I guess the build-up doesn't do anything to it, but I feel like we're chewing her down better now. She's orange, so I don't know if the Psychic Cleaver would have made a difference in the last battle. It might have. I think we've got her. Kind of a shame that we had to set the mission lower, and I probably could have beaten her at +0 instead of -1 here. I think, you know, the leveling up, I forgot that we were that close to leveling up. But oh well. Come on. So close to getting her. Got her. So that Psychic Scream seemed to work. We've got our reward merit 62, which puts us to 489. We need 111 to go. And we can head out. I just want you to see, these guys are all blue cons. I want you to see, like, how easy this is when you're not playing it on +2 or +3. Right? You can one-shot these guys. One-shot a lieutenant. Right. On the white cons, I was one-shotting the Iron Strongman with these 2 attacks. So, yeah, it's just not... Alright, let me rearrange the... inspirations now. We don't need the break free, and we can head out. And let me set the notoriety back to plus... I guess +2 for now against the Carnies. Because I think we're going to have to keep fighting. Or maybe not. Does that end the story arc? I guess it does. I thought this story arc included her saying to you that you had to go check them again, and it turned out that they were still active. But maybe that's a different story arc. All right, let's level up. Since we're very close, we'll just go over here by the hospital and level our character to level 46, which is going to give us some more slots. I'm not sure what we're going to slot yet. Let's take a look. Train to a new level. So we want to finish Power Crash, I guess. We could potentially increase these. Let's finish Power Crash. So Power Crash is now going to need 3 damages. Let's head back to the base and see if we've got them. I think we might have some. So hope everybody's early summer is going okay. It's about 4 or 5 days after Memorial Day as I record this. I've been enjoying the summer. I've gotten a lot of reading done. I've even read a couple of those lit RPG books. The ones I've read have been okay. One was good, the other one not as good. I feel like it's very clear that these folks are obviously not writers. They're gamers. And they're, yeah, the writing is not super great. But it's okay. I mean, you know, I've read 2 of them. I finished them. I didn't like what they call DNF them. Let's see, what's this one? Melee damage, not bad. And it's purple. Alright, so let's see. Damage, we have a level 45 we can create right there. And that gives us 3 damages, which is going to almost double the damage of Power Crash to 97 damage per hit to everyone that hits. It's not actually a lot. If you look at Whirling Hands, does 94 as well. So those are the AoEs. But if you look at something like Total Focus, it does 288. Now, of course, the thing with AoEs is they're damaging everybody in the range, right? Not just one character. So it could do a lot more than 288 damage if there are enough guys in your vicinity. Let's take a look at recipes here. What do we got? Sniper attacks we don't need. Okay, Crushing Impact is a melee set. It increases smashing lethal resistance, not bad. Increases your health. Improves accuracy of all powers, that's excellent. Recharge time, that's good. And Toxic and Psionic resistance, which stacks with our stuff. Yeah, let's make a Crushing Impact. I don't know if we're going to use it, but let's go ahead and make one. So that gives us that one. And then this is an endurance modification. As much as I'd like to have that, it doesn't really do anything for us. Thunderstrike is range damage we don't need. Titanium coating is resistance. And Red Fortune is defense. Now, the problem with these is they're using some orange. And I don't necessarily want. I mean, the Crushing Impact is one I probably will make as a set, but I don't know about these other sets. I'm not sure which one I want to use. So I think I'm going to take the orange salvage out of there because I don't want to make up a bunch of sets, set enhancements that aren't full sets, and then I can't get the last one because you can't buy it in the auction house or something, and I'm sitting there with a bunch of wasted, having wasted a bunch of salvage that I used. I'd rather not do that. So let's put this stuff away. Whoops, nope, that goes in there. And that goes in there, and that goes in there, and that goes in there, and that goes in there. So our yellow salvage is filling up, right? Did we fill the top floor? I think we did. Yeah, so we almost have full yellow salvage, and then the white salvage over here is also full already. So we only have the room for about 70 more salvages. I think the vault is full too, right? Oh, no, we can add a little bit to the vault, so let's go ahead and do that. Well, we can add these 10 guys. Let's add 5 of them. Like, one of the reasons I sometimes don't add all is then it leaves some behind to use. Where is it? Which thing? There it is. Okay, so my favorite piece of salvage is the inanimate carbon rod. I think I've mentioned this to you. It's a joke from The Simpsons, from the episode where Homer goes to space. Um, the inanimate carbon rod is the hero. It's hilarious. Um, Instead of Homer being called a hero, the inanimate carbon rod is the hero, and it's just a joke from the the beginning of the episode. Homer is he thinks he's going to be chosen as employee of the month because it says in their contract that everyone they can't choose it, they can't repeat it until everyone's gotten one, and everyone else at the plant has gotten employee of the month, and Homer thinks he's going to be chosen, and instead they choose a nuclear cooling rod, and he gets really mad, and then he goes into space, he becomes an astronaut, and at the end of the episode, the door he breaks the seal on the door, and the only way to he accidentally fixes the seal on the door by getting an inanimate carbon rod jammed into the um, into the space shuttle, and then the inanimate carbon rod is the hero instead of Homer. It's very funny, and it's just obviously somebody who's a Simpson fan created that. All right, now this thing we're going to have to autocomplete, but we can't do that till, oh my gosh, 2 days from now. So I guess we need to find another contact. So let's see what we've got. Let's talk to our inactive contacts because I don't think they gave us new contacts. The high level guys. Um, Madeline? She did, I think. Escalante didn't. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're missing contacts here. We have Crimson, but he can't do him till 48. Oh, Harvey Mailer and Maria Jenkins. All right, and Maxwell Christopher. All right, let's call Maxwell. Oh, he's given us a new contract. Okay. Unai. Okay, I remember him. So he's in Peregrine Island, right? All right, so let's go to Peregrine Island. I can't remember who. I think Unai sends you against the Malta. And what's our notoriety? We're at +2. Okay, we'll just leave it there until we see who we're fighting. He might be Ricky. I can't remember now. Ruptures. Okay, so close the dimensional ruptures. This could be almost anybody. Not just this mission, but if it's a story arc, and I don't know if it's an arc. No. It could be almost anybody, and they often switch enemies during the arc because you're going to alternate dimensions and stuff. So it could be the council, it could be, heck, even the fifth column. So we are 46th level, guys. We just turned 46th level. We need 3.2 million XP to get to level 47. Spanish Pantheon. All right. 20 ruptures. See, this is a great example of things. What I think is a problem in the upper level game in City of Heroes. They give you a gigantic map and 20 things to close. Instead of in an earlier level, they would have given you an indoor map in an office with a few, maybe 5 floors and 1 or 2 ruptures per floor. Much more condensed, and this adds nothing to make it this big and to have multiple glowies right next to each other. What's the point of that? And these things aren't even being defended. They're just sitting here. Who designs these missions? Not good mission design, in my opinion. And I feel like whoever designed the upper level missions just didn't have the same mission design sense as the people who designed the lower level missions. And there was definitely a feeling that the primary goal of these guys, of the designers at this point, was to just make it take a long time rather than actually making it challenging or exciting or what have you. I thought that was one of the bosses, but it was just a summoned guy. At least these things glow, so hopefully I'll be able to see them. But yeah, there's a definite sense in these larger missions that it's basically just a time sink. And I wish they hadn't done that, because most of the lower level missions do not feel like time sinks, but these ones do. I remember one of my friends saying that one of the problems with a lot of the newest missions, the upper level missions that were put in the game late, or even if they're not upper level, but the ones that were put in the game like after City Villain, not only City Villains came out, but after they started doing the archetype proliferation or whatever you want to call it, where they were allowing the different archetypes to play on all sides of the game. They started purposely doing stuff with missions. Oh, we're being attacked. Let's hit haste. I'll fight this guy first. I'm doing haste because they're using ice on us and it slows you down. Whoever it was saying that a lot of the mission design decisions started to be with the goal of making it so stalkers couldn't stalk to the end of the mission and complete it without actually doing the mission. Oh, we're going to fight this guy. I like totems. If they had a bunch of totems in here, I'd be fighting all these spawns because I like totems. They're awesome. Shame that they're so easily defeated. I feel like these upper level Banished Pantheon are weaker than the default ones. Like the Storm Shamans and stuff are actually harder to deal with than these upper level guys. Alright, so let's see. We'll go down a little bit and we'll hit this stuff. So anyway, yeah, apparently one of the design goals of the missions that came into being after Stalkers were allowed, you know, in the hero side of the game and everything, was that was that they wanted to make it so that the stalkers couldn't stalk through a mission and like easily just click all the glowies and walk out without fighting anybody. And I think I mentioned this in an earlier episode where we were doing think it was Nightmare Last, and she was in one of these outdoor missions, and I was just trying to get through it as fast as possible. And I said, to me, if I'm the designer, right, I would want to know, okay, people playing this game like City of Heroes, right? It's not that they don't want to fight combat. So if we we have designed missions that are making the players purposely skip the combat, click the glowies, and get out as fast as possible, I would want to know what's wrong with the mission design, right? Because my guess is the Stalkers probably generally didn't do that in the smaller indoor missions that were reasonable, right? They did it in these gigantic maps where you have like 1,000 mobs, and who wants to fight all of that? Oh, somebody's attacking me. That's an underling we can ignore. Because when we take out the summoner, he disappears the way he should. So yeah, I would ask, why is it... What the heck? Wow, that's quite the jump. Why is it that these players who supposedly love this game, I mean, after all, if you're 45th level, you must love the game. You wouldn't keep playing it, right? If you hated it. How did you aggro from all the way over there? Oh, I know, because he was tied to the lieutenant we just defeated, so he aggroed. Yeah. Why would somebody who loves the game be trying to skip the game? Well, apparently something about this players don't actually love, right? And so, as the designer, I would investigate that and say, what is the problem, right? Why are they doing this, right? Why did this player just come into this mission, fight a few totems because he thinks they're cool, skip all the other fights he could, and just click on the glowies, right? And the obvious answer is the mission is too big. And one of the things that definitely changed over the years is they made the mission maps larger and larger. So you have these giant outdoor maps. You have that. I haven't actually done a lot of them with this character for some reason, but the container ship. When you get on like the ship, and it's just these huge rooms with spawn after spawn, and it's almost as big as one of these outdoor maps. And again, and you're going through, and it's this big long thing, right? And there's like 4 or 5 chambers, and whatever you're looking for is always in the last chamber anyway. And if you just did that one chamber, it would be enough, but they have you do 5 of them. And it's just like, they seem to think making it bigger and longer and more enemies to fight was the right way to go. And yeah, I don't think it's the right way to go. How are we doing on time? 33 minutes. All right, let's try one more. We're going to close dimensional ruptures in the next dimension. And then we will stop. So we're already 1 bar, which is 1/10 of the way into level 46. On level 47, we get our next superpower. I have no idea what that's going to be. Probably the focused accuracy, or whatever it's called, the accuracy toggle, because at least it kills your endurance, but at least if I'm in a situation where I get 20 things to close, at least I'm in a situation where I am struggling to hit, I can turn that on, and it'll help. So let's find the edges of this thing so we know how big the zone is. You see, this is what I mean. Like, this is clearly overdoing it. To make the zone this big, to have that many things that you have to click on, and they're all hidden underneath the corners of buildings and stuff. Needle in a haystack. And, it's clearly a needle in a haystack type of a mission. And again, I feel like somebody needed to explain to whatever developer designed these endgame missions. When people use the analogy of a needle in a haystack, they're not describing a fun activity. They're describing something that's frustrating. Gosh, this is so frustrating. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. And then, okay, let's make a mission where the players find a needle in a haystack. That's not smart. Alright, let's see if we can find these dimensional ruptures. I don't even know what they look like in this mission. Sometimes they don't look the same. So this is Council here. Right? But I'm not interested in actually fighting them and doing all of this on this map. So we'll see if we can find... We need to find one first so that I know what they look like. Okay, here, they're the same. They're not like one of the other types of dimensional portals because they could be stone altars and various other things. So here we go. 1, 2. I don't mind fighting the guys who are guarding the portals. You know, fighting 20 spawns is fine, but if you think about it, right, that's 20 spawns that you're fighting. If you're just fighting the guys who are by the portals. If you fight the rest of the map, it's got to be 100 spawns. Given how many spawns there are and how many areas over here where there weren't any portals at all. Right. And we are on level 48. Okay. There's another portal. The other thing I don't get about the design, and I don't know how random it is versus... like, I know what happens is there are spawn points, potential spawn points for things, and then I think the algorithm randomly chooses. So there might be, say, 30 spawn points on this map, and they choose 20 of the 30 or something. What I don't understand is that the spawn points often end up very clumped together. I don't know if that's just the random number generator always working in a very clustery way, same way it does with hit rolls, or if there's something about the design, but it's like they have huge chunks of the map, often right where you come into these outdoor maps, where nothing of what you're looking for is there. And then other chunks of the map where it's all lumped together and you find like 10 of them in one place. And that doesn't make any sense to me either. You would think it would be evenly distributed. If I were doing it, it would be evenly distributed. Like if I'm a GM making a map like this, I would evenly distribute them and not have them be like all of them be on one side of the map or in one corner. Right, you see like they're all really close to each other here. And where are all the spawns anyway? This is actually a pretty empty map. So you ask yourself, okay, what's the point of this? Look at, they're all like in a row. That's sort of weird. And a lot of them aren't being guarded. This almost seems buggy to me. Like, I feel like there should be a lot more enemies on this map. Not that there should be by design, but I mean, like, I don't think good design would put more enemies on this map, but I think the way this mission usually is, there are a lot more enemies on the map, so I wonder if there's some sort of a bug. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. You got to see me faceplant ignominiously. You got to see us gain a level and add some enhancements. I haven't actually even used the enhanced power, have I? Let's do that next time. Do a nice power crash punch. Alright, so there are 3 more to find. And I hear one there. There we go. It's good. Just about to say you can use your ears on these, fortunately. The one advantage glowies give you over hostages is they do make some noise. Alright, let's try power crash. And that did, yeah, about 111 damage. Not too bad. And I do need to finish up because I'm baking some bread and it is very close to being done. Oh, I missed one at the beginning. Okay. Wow, how the heck did I miss that right at the front? All right, this finishes this mission up, and out we go. So, can we talk to him yet? No, let's head out. So we'll talk to Unai, and then we will finish up this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and hope you're enjoying our season 4.5, which is the level 45 to 50 game, and will be the final season with this character. After this, we'll be moving on to a Dominator. I'm actually pretty jazzed to do that. I haven't played a non melee character for any length of time on this channel, so. Oh man, a timed mission. Alright, I guess we're staying with this. This is one of the things I really hate about City of Heroes is when they do this. I'll pause it here and I'll bring you back as we're toward the end of the mission. Alright, folks, we're about 3/4 of the way done. And so we're going to hopefully finish up. There's 4 in sight, and the last one should. Oh, there's a 5th one right there, so we got them all. So that should take care of it. Yeah, I don't see the point of a mission like this and making a timed mission. Like, that's another thing I would probably take out of the game is the timed missions. When they originally put them in, they were actually a challenge. It might be, to do a mission like this, it might be 45 minutes. But people didn't like the timed missions and they complained about it and they said it's not enough time. And, you know, because the timer starts when you accept the mission, then if you have to go get a group or something, you might not even walk into the mission until 10 minutes, 15 minutes have gone by, and then you can't finish it. And so a lot of people complained about that. So what they did was they like doubled or tripled the amount of time, right? So what used to be a 30-minute mission is now a 90-minute mission, or you know, what used to be a 45-minute mission is now a 2-hour mission. The problem with that is that it took me, what, 5 minutes to do this mission, 6 minutes? What good is the timer? And the other issue is that if you don't get it done in time, the mission fails, and the consequence of a failed mission in City of Heroes is that you just do it again. It doesn't make it so that like you can't complete a story arc or something. And so like, okay, what is the point of the timer then? You can't actually fail missions in City of Heroes. You can temporarily fail them, but you can just do them over and over again until you succeed at them. Right? So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me to even have the timer. So that's something else I'd probably take out of the game. But in any case, we've completed that mission. We completed that sort of mini arc. I think we have his phone number now. Yeah. And that was very quick. And let's see, who else do we have? We have Maria Jenkins, and we have Harvey. And once we hit level 48, we'll have Crimson, and he will send us against the Malta. But that is for another time. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes.